right, well, welcome back to the channel. My name is Kevin.
I'm Tarsha.
And this is, of course, Conversations with the Crawleys, where we have conversations about faith, family, relationships, and recaps, reviews of some of our favorite TV shows. This one is dedicated, of course, to Ready to Love Season 5, Episode 5. So if this is content you enjoy, of course, hit that subscribe button, hit the like, request notifications, and share. And we will definitely see you in the comments. All right. So it's looking a little different today just because Tarsha is out of town on a birthday trip with one of her long-term girlfriends. So, but we still wanted to come on and at least give you the recap and review of this last episode of Ready to Love. So we're going to jump into it. We are live right now while we're doing this. So, of course, if you're in the comments, we will definitely see you. And may even mention your comment. So, all right, let's jump into it. First of all, you looking good, baby.
You look good too. I miss you a little bit.
Too. Oh, a little bit. Don't have too much fun. All right, so this is basically it's the fourth week of them showing stuff, right?
Showing stuff.
Yeah. And so we got the ladies are in control this one. The ladies come in, and Tasia, of course, I think she's the Debbie Downer of this whole crew. She's like, the energy is different. Men still playing around, and too many of us women are in limbo. Men need to start picking.
I'm like, it's too early, girl. You may not be around, so calm down.
Right. You might not be here next week, so calm yourself down.
Right.
You know, the fact is that it's still too early to be booing up completely, right?
Thank you. Yes.
So they go and they have a pool party. Tommy's like, we're gonna switch it up. We're gonna bring everybody back, go to the pool, hang out. Now, the advantage to that is that it does allow folks to begin to see what's happening behind the scenes. Right. Now you can see who messing with who really checking for who. And that comes into play in this episode, because there are some things that people start to see, and it's like, oh, okay, that's how you're moving.
Well, also you have to think about is that who may start checking for who, right? So now you're at the pool party, you seeing all the assets out. And so you might want to start checking for something else. So it's a good time to remingle.
Something you didn't pay attention to the first time, that now you're like, oh, okay. All right.
See.
So of course, our favorite person, Corey.
Being Corey, so what do you call him? What do you say?
Corey doing Corey things, right?
Corey doing Corey things.
So he first connects with Moomin, but then also says he's got a soft spot for Courtney, and he plans to do something for Courtney, right?
And
then we see later on a little bit that he starts to like leave little notes, right?
Right.
But on the other side of the pool, Walter and Sabrina start connecting.
Right. So obviously we know they're talking, right? We don't see that part of it, but here you get to see their intimate moment and sharing, talking about roses and opening up. And Walter's eyes got open. He was like, oh.
Yeah, Sabrina was just a little bit more flirtatious, right?
Even like, I'm about to order some roses right now. It's crazy.
And then over on one of the beach chairs, Camille and Cornelius start having a conversation.
Yeah.
And they talk about how they discuss boundaries after the last date or whatever.
Right. She's put herself in a rough spot. Because at first I thought she was just trying to be funny. I'm like, okay, I'm just hoping she's trying to be funny, trying to be cute, like, oh, that's my boo. But no, this chick's serious. Like, she on another level by herself.
She's a little psycho.
I was like, when she started calling him out, because this is right when they're talking, this is when she started calling him out.
Well, no,
And
later she
okay,
starts throwing
okay,
them out. But right
okay,
now they're talking about, at this point, they're talking about boundaries, right? They're talking about,
right.
don't come around, what have you. So SG says Corey is okay by himself, but comes off as goofy around the women. My mom said that from watching this one time. Yeah, Corey, I don't think Corey got game. That's just
Well,
my
yeah,
thought.
we'll
We'll
talk
talk
more
about it.
about Corey.
But yeah,
I got some opinions.
oh, you got some stuff on Corey. So
Uh,
yeah, with Camille and Cornelius, they start talking about boundaries. And it's like, it's too early to start talking about boundaries because it's still early, right? Y'all are still
right,
trying to get to know each other and move around. We've seen in previous
right.
seasons where folks have got to stop moving, stop moving around and get connected and booed up, and
Hmm.
then find themselves on the short end of the stick. Etta says there's nothing funny about Camille. She is alarming. Yeah, there are some red flags
Yes.
report with Camille, right?
Camille, yes.
And in fact, go into our playlist. There's a video that we talk about some of the red flags with Camille from the beginning, just some things that we noticed
Hmm.
kind of day one. That's just like Camille is not. It's not a good look. Not a good look,
Hmm.
right? Um, and then Courtney starts finding these cards. She starts locating these cards and
Right.
talking about professing love and
You're
you
my
were my
number
first crush,
one.
but you my crush now, and all that type of stuff. And she's taken by it. She likes it. It's a romantic, right?
Right,
She calls him
right,
a charmer, all that.
right, right.
So as we go on, Shiloh is connecting with Tyrone as well.
Correct.
She's like,
Correct.
I'm feeling him, but Tyrone,
Tyrone is about to get his wife. He's like, look, you are it. Where's my ring? I'm about to put a ring on your finger, call it a day.
right,
I'm done dating.
right.
Let's go, boo. And she like, whoa, 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 whoa. We're in the
Time out.
process. There is still like six other chocolate men around here that I
Mhm.
am feeling,
Right.
and it's too soon for me, which I
Absolutely.
understand, right? Because it is a process. They haven't even gone on a date.
Yeah.
They haven't had
Yeah.
an official date. They've talked on the phone. I
Right.
mean, her intimacy coaching is on point. I might need to get her because she got him locked down. Like he's like, you my wife. I mean, like to me, when you say that to someone,
Mhm.
that's pretty serious.
Right.
And you really need to feel like someone's at that level and feeling you at that level.
Right.
And it doesn't seem like she's there.
Yeah. It was so. I mean, it was. It's. I, we've seen that Tyrone is socially awkward, right?
Right.
He's what have you, but I think that it was too much too soon,
Yeah, too
and
much.
so for her to be looking at it and saying, I appreciate it, but I'm gonna
Right.
stick with my process. I'm gonna stay
Right.
with what I gotta do, right?
Right.
So, and then he doesn't just go from there. And she says that she's gonna stay faithful to the process, right? So
Right.
then Tommy comes out and Tommy brings out, he's like, look, I got another curveball for y'all.
Here it goes. Two more singles.
Two more folks show up. And so we get to meet Sydney, who is
Mm-hmm.
33 and an entrepreneur, and
Mm-hmm.
Sean, who is a writer, actor, and creative, right?
Correct.
So of course, folks are checking it out. Like, okay, let me see who move around. Now we got
You
a little
see a
thing.
Sia? Did you see a Sia's face when they put the camera on Sia's face when Sydney came out?
Yeah, to see it
She
was like
like, oh, I might be out this next week
right,
might be my last week.
right.
Her confidence went down like quick.
Yeah, she was like, I was already low person on the totem pole. Now I just got lower.
Oh my
So
God.
they're all kind of mingling and what have you. Now the mistake that, of course, that starts to be made is Sean and Sydney kind of start off a conversation together with Zadia and Camille.
Right. Right.
So if you're trying to move around, trying to get to know people and trying to introduce yourselves, don't come with the person who just came in the door with you.
Well, Or let's talk about this. There's a way to navigate it, right?
Right.
So if you're new and these are two new people, I do want to stick around to hear what you say without me having to be in this conversation. So anyone else that I've been, you know,
Hmm.
romancing on the phone, they won't think that I just automatically navigated to the new guy.
Right.
But maybe his responses, he should have made sure he's talking, like make eye contact, like you're in an interview. So you make
Right.
eye contact with every person
Right.
so they feel included. But I also feel like the women, like we're making them feel a little excluded. Like we've already got who we want to be with. Even
Right.
Camille was already on it, like, I got my boo. And they be
Right.
like, you already hold on, you already booed up. I thought
Exactly.
this was a process. So she was a little dismissive too. So
Yeah. And again, that's part of the red flag Camille. I'm gonna just call her red flag Camille just because she red flagging all day.
Camille.
Red flag Camille just was dismissive of any other person, right? Including Sean, who could be, a good guy, what have you. We don't know. We're just meeting him, right?
Right.
Um, and they kind of Zadia and Camille kind of like, well, look, we're gonna let y'all have y'all conversation. He's like, no, 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 no.
Right.
I want to have meet with all of y'all, right?
Right.
So, then we find out that Sydney and Frank, Bottle Shaker Frank, they know each other from the nightlife. So
Right. Right.
you
So
might have fixed her
which
a drink or two.
hey, but it seems like it was just they had mutual friends, but they've
Hmm.
never personally connected.
Right.
And so now this gives an opportunity because she was like, no, I mean, because he was just like, oh yeah, we know each other. And
Hmm.
he's like, that's good. And she's like, no, possibly we could make a connection. And he's like,
Hmm.
oh, okay, okay, okay. You keeping the door open, which she
Right.
should, right?
Yeah.
If they're in the same type of business, and he's always been concerned about having a girlfriend when he's entertaining at
Hmm.
night. If
Hmm.
they're in the same industry, this makes it easier
Right.
to have a connection, potentially go somewhere.
Right. I mean, if you're already in the same circle,
Right.
expect
That's it's a easy
it's a natural
transition.
fit, right? So we'll
Hmm.
see how that flows. But we know Frank is also feeling Aisha, so
Right.
we'll see how that plays
Right.
out. So then Tyrone has a meeting with Sabrina, or talks with Sabrina.
He's like he cutting everybody off. Like, all right, pick my woman for life. I'm a wifey or it's over. Sabrina, girl, I gotta let you go.
At least let's give Tyrone his credit. Tyrone is like, look, I know what I want.
I'm not leading you on.
I'm not gonna lead you on. I'm not gonna play games with your heart.
Right.
I know Shiloh is my girl. Shiloh is
Like
my number
Sabrina, you're a
one.
nice woman. You're gonna
Right.
find somebody one day, but it ain't me. It ain't
So
me, babe.
because Tyrone, again, if you remember, Tyrone cut off Carrie. He was like, listen, I don't have any more room on my plate for you.
No, my plane,
My
as
plane
she
is
called
taking
it.
off. You on standby.
He
Find you
was
another
there.
flight.
Right. He told Sabrina, you need to find another airlines. It's over.
That's and good comment at that. There is honesty, but that was a little too much honesty and way too soon, right?
Too soon.
And
Right.
okay. So if you know our story, Tarsha, my story, we started dating in Bible school in college, right?
Hmm.
And probably what 2 weeks in,
Right.
we
Right.
knew that this is the thing, right? Now we
Right.
didn't run down to the courthouse and get married on week 3,
No.
but week 2 we were having the conversation that this is it. Now
Right.
we didn't do it. I didn't do it just in public with everybody else. We had a conversation. It was just like,
Right.
this is what we feel, and it
Right.
was checking with her to see how she felt and
Right.
making my intentions known. With Tyrone, though, Tyrone is like telling everybody without really having that full conversation with Shiloh. He's telling everybody, you don't matter. Shiloh's my one. And Shiloh's like, I appreciate it, but pause the brakes.
Well, and that's what Sabrina was saying to him. Like she's like, well, hold on. You're so early in this process.
Mhm.
I'm enjoying talking to you. I'm
Right.
enjoying your company. and you don't even know where Shiloh is.
Hmm.
So why don't you just enjoy the process?
Right.
And let's see where we can go with this.
Hmm.
So even though he's being a little, I would consider more dismissive,
Hmm.
she's still trying to like, can you
Engage.
just figure it out? Because I feel like we're having a good connection
Hmm.
and it's not coming through. Like you still got another beautiful woman here where you're having this connection.
Yep.
And yeah, maybe, Shiloh's giving you all the butterflies and the birds around your head and the hearts,
Hmm.
but hold on, could there be more?
Right.
It's just too soon. And
Right.
again, you haven't, and I get that a lot of times we got a lot of online dating. It's been a pandemic. People been meeting people online and can't physically talk to them or go out with them, but you actually can go out with this person you haven't even been on a date. You don't even know how they
Right.
act
Right.
towards other people, right? Like all that's a thing. Like
Hmm.
if you're nasty to the waiter and you
Right.
you treat people wrong, if I see that in public, like whoa, 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 even though you're good to me, I want to be around somebody that's going to be good to someone else, and you
Right.
haven't seen that yet.
Right.
So
You
I'm
haven't
like,
had enough. You don't have enough information at this point to say this is the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with. Yes, she checks a lot of the boxes for him as far as maybe attractiveness, maybe sensuality, those type of things.
mm-hmm,
But
mm-hmm,
there's a lot of other things that at this point, at this stage, he doesn't have the information to say, this is the person that I plan on spending the rest of my life with.
right.
Is she a front runner? Cool. Got it.
Make her
But
number one.
but she ain't
Give her a
crossed the finish
star.
line yet. Right.
Give her put a number one and put a star. Like every time you go out to the mixer, put a number one on it. Say
Right.
Tyrone or something. But,
I
but
mean, you've put her, he's put her as number one in a race that she doesn't even know she's in.
oh God, bless his heart.
So so Cornelius on the other side of the pool, because everything is happening at the pool. So again, we see that this pool environment allows folks to see how people move with other folks, right? So
Mm-hmm,
Cornelius he's doing what I would expect him to do, which is he's talking with Sydney. She's the new woman on the
mm-hmm,
block, right?
mm-hmm.
Let me get to know her. Let me see what she's about.
Right.
And Camille is over there just throwing daggers. She is just like cutting her
She
eyes.
buzzing like a bee. Like she behind the scene. You see her passing up.
Right.
And to me, you tell me this. If you're a man and you're trying to mingle and do your process, and you got someone like walking back and forth behind you and making you feel a certain way that you can't maneuver when you're out in the open, like everyone's dating mutual people.
Right.
And when you tell me you feel a certain way, like I can't maneuver it, I had to cut you off. I'd be like, nope,
I'm down at PG County Sheriff's Department getting a
shut
protective order.
up.
Sorry,
Shut up.
I'm getting a protective order because listen, if
He
you're
said,
if you're
stop.
that that clingy, that trying to hold that much on me, and we've only been moving together for a few weeks in a process that everybody comes into knowing that you're going to see multiple people. If you're
Mm,
going to do that to me this early, if I do choose you, how do you move if I'm at work and one of my coworkers comes and talks to me? Are you going to have an issue with that, right?
right, right.
um and then they get into this conversation where she calls him a country bumpkin.
Oh yeah,
She called him a dumbass. She said
she
he's
sure
failing
did.
every test as far as how they move, right?
I'm
So,
like, whoa, whoa, whoa. See, I would have put her on the spot. I said, first of all, you ain't gonna call me out of my name.
right.
That's the first thing. And I'm not your boyfriend. I am not your boyfriend. Look at me. Like I'd be like, look, it's like, I am not your boyfriend. I would have to shut it down.
So I've heard that Camille doesn't actually teach. So yes, good thing. Hopefully Camille doesn't work for PG County schools for kids. I think I've heard that she is not necessarily a teacher at present. She's more of an administrator. So her,
Yeah, she need to get administration.
yeah, she need to be in the back office somewhere. Way in the back office. But during that conversation, I'm literally like cringing for Cornelius because I'm like, bruh, I don't.
He was nice.
He was.
He was nice because I with the rolling of the eyes and she crying and carrying on like, how can you do this? I'm like, to what to you? What are you talking about, chick?
Mhm,
I'm like,
mhm,
we're in a process. I
mhm,
told you at the skating ring, this is a process. We just talked, supposedly we just talked about boundaries.
mhm.
And now you up here acting out for no reason.
Right,
And not only do I see it, all these other dudes see it.
right.
And so you need to watch. Even her girl was trying to like, girl, come on, let's get in the pool. Like
You,
she was trying to like,
you don't have the right
you gotta,
attitude right now. You
you don't
need
have
to
the
calm
right
down.
attitude. How you gonna check someone who just got there? How you gonna check Sydney?
Right,
You're not exclusive with this guy, and
right,
you're gonna go check some other woman, like make a
right,
scene?
right.
Mm-mm. Oh,
And good point at we remember Camille is the one that was engaged 3 times. And as delusional as she has come off regarding Cornelius, there's a question, valid or not, whether or not she was actually engaged these previous times, or she just wrapped
she
it.
thought she was
She thought she
engaged.
was engaged, right? She bought her
She put
own
the
ring.
ring in front of him, and he opened the box, and she's like, "Oh my god, yes!"
Listen, we've heard stories, being in ministry. We've heard there's a pastor, we could call his name, but there's a pastor who was ministering one time and had a woman show up to his church in a full wedding gown, talking about that they were supposed to get married that day. So we've seen delusional stuff, right? Camille is checking all the boxes as far as red flags and delusional. Now, I will give some I'll give her a little credit, or at least some pause to say maybe we don't know all the conversations that Cornelius is having with her. So maybe Cornelius on the phone is saying some other things that cause her to be this way, but we're not seeing that. We're not seeing that, right?
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. I would question if I was one of the other ladies there, I would question how Cornelius is moving, right?
Hmm.
Because I get it. You're trying to stay professional. Maybe you're not
Hmm.
gonna, I feel like he should have been more stronger in defending his
Hmm.
position about his process.
Yeah.
And anyone who can't really talk to me, but is trying to pacify me in a
Hmm.
sense, like, okay, calm down. You know, you're my number one. I want to feel like you're taking the lead and say, you know what?
Right.
We're not going to do this here. I'm not your
Hmm.
boyfriend. I don't like how you're acting or talking to me, and I'm not
Yep.
going to let you talk to me this way.
Yep.
I feel strongly about you, but I'm trying to connect. And if you can't get that, I'm gonna move on. Now, if
Yep.
I could overhear that conversation, I'm like, oh, he's really knows what he wants. He's
Hmm.
really trying to, you know, tell her and communicate well. Then I know like this guy got something more going on
Right.
instead of just pacifying her and let her act like this
Right.
towards him.
Right.
Mm,
That's a good, because he is, in some respects, he may not be encouraging behavior, but he's definitely allowing it.
exactly.
And
Exactly.
you can't complain about what you allow. That's a whole other message right there. You can't
Yep.
complain about what you allow.
Yep.
And he's allowing it, and he
He's
needs to
allowing
put his foot down and have the conversation and say, I need you to pump the brakes. I need you to calm down.
it. Mm-hmm.
We're going to move through this process, and if we choose each other, great, but this is a
Mm-hmm.
process. And yeah, you might be my number one, you might be the one that I'm checking for mostly, but that
Right.
doesn't mean that we're exclusive.
Right. And it shows how much confidence you have in yourself, right? If you're
Right.
having those connections, you're talking a lot, you're on the same page spiritually, emotionally,
Hmm.
physically,
Hmm.
then you have nothing to worry about.
Right.
Then talk to some other men, give him his space. Because
Yep.
I think another problem women have, they don't give a man enough space.
Right.
And he has to have his space to process because you want him to naturally choose you.
Right.
And that's something that's forced or manipulated.
Right.
And then you end up a year in and he's like, you know what? I think I really don't like you.
Right. He's basically being bogarted into a relationship with her.
Right. Right.
She's strong arming him into a relationship,
Correct.
which is
Correct.
not a good thing. It's not
No,
going to be good.
because you have to overwork to keep it at that intensity
Right.
where I don't want to overwork. I want
Right.
to enjoy, like, was it Camille telling her, enjoy the process? We're having fun. Why
Mhm.
can't you just have fun?
Right.
And then I feel like when people are having fun and not intentionally, like, I got to be in a relationship, I got to get married,
Right.
they're more times they fall into love
Mhm.
than creating love, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah. So then they move kind of from the pool area to like a mixer afterwards, after the pool,
Mhm.
in like the beach house, whatever it is, right? In
The basement,
the
you
basement,
know,
like one of them
yeah,
basement parties. All you need is like the red lights, right?
and some go-go.
And some go-go, right, for DC, right? So Aisha she's talking with Sean. Frank kind of looks over, is like, okay. Frank, of course, is still feeling Aisha. Um,
Right.
and Aisha does talk about the fact that she likes older men. So she's what, 38, if I remember correctly,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
Sean is 44. He's the new guy.
Right.
And Sean does play things right because he notices things about her. So he notices that she
Hmm.
smiles bigger when she talks about being a wife and mother, and we know that those are
Hmm.
important things to
Sure.
Aisha, right? Over on the other side of the basement, you got Corey with Courtney, right?
Hmm.
And he does acknowledge that he's the one that's been dropping the cards, right?
Hmm.
He's been doing the little, love notes, what have you, and she likes it.
Hmm.
She's feeling it,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Makes her feel special, makes her
Hmm.
feel unique. She
Hmm.
enjoys it.
Hmm.
And Mumin is just kind of on the other side of the basement, still saying that she's confused because it seems like he's doing the same thing with other women, right?
Hmm.
So she's saying, okay, she wants to feel special. Courtney in this moment feels special. And we do know that
Hmm.
Corey said at the beginning that he was going to, focus on making Courtney feel special and then
This
come around
time.
and do something for Mumin.
Right.
So I
Right.
get that I get what he's saying as far as his perspective, right? Um, but Corey, who has called himself the copy and paste king, or he's copy and paste, he's the first date king, right?
Right.
The challenge is, do you do the same thing for different people in the same circle, right?
You have to be two steps ahead.
Right.
If you're gonna think intentionally, think like I'm gonna be unique in my approach, what the way he could have end the night,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So he spent most of his time with Camille. Okay,
Right.
you notice that.
What you mean with Courtney?
No, at the pool party.
Oh,
At the
you
pool
mean
party,
Mumin?
Monine, excuse me,
Yeah,
Monine.
Mumin.
He spent
Okay.
most of the time with her at the
Right.
pool party, right?
Hmm.
So
Right.
Courtney was getting the notes and he's spending time with Monine. I feel like I'm saying her name wrong. But at the end, he could have had like something just a little tiny special for her and saying, you know what, I really wanted to physically just be here with you,
Right.
spend time with you,
Hmm.
I, you know, cupcakes, something. And I just want to say it's been special that we had this one-on-one
Right.
eye contact.
Right.
Him focusing on that, I was physically here with you,
Right.
right? And
Hmm.
saying that you're still special to me. I am pursuing, and here you make it here. I am still pursuing other people, but I want you to know I'm different. And
Yeah.
the way I pursue each person is going to be different. It looks different.
Yeah.
You have to keep the communication because automatically, as women, we want to know where we stand,
Hmm.
where we at, because again, you want to know if you're not feeling me anymore, even though this is a process, well, maybe I could take a little bit more focus on somebody else.
Yeah.
And that makes sense. But when you are so, I'm gonna do this, I'm spending time with her, but you don't know how to communicate and navigate the dynamics, you lose.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You lose.
So they end the pool party in the mixer, right? And so Mumin and Corey have like a little, the little meeting, little date, right?
Yeah, the
Um,
following day.
the following day. And Mumin says that, hey, Tasia called me and she told me about these love notes that kept popping up from Corey. And so she's like, is that, was that the case?
Is that true?
Corey is doing his whole matrix thing, trying to avoid the answer. and he deflects. What did you see me doing it?
I'm like,
Did you actually
dude,
see me put down the cards? Because I don't know.
I'm
What was it me?
I'm so done. I'm like, first thing you do is just admit it. Just just admit it. Say, I did. I did.
Right.
Because I'm feeling you. And again, I will focus on, I spent all my time at the pool party.
Right.
And when I'm pursuing two beautiful ladies, I'm not going to let I'm not going to other lady feel left out,
Right.
because I wanted to spend all my physical time with you.
Right.
And I got something special coming up for you too. So again, you're being upfront, because when you're not upfront, it seems like you're hiding something and you're not
Right.
being truthful. Because
Right.
if you're hiding something, to me, it's just almost like, well, you're not coming forth with it. Are you lying? Are you saying something else? Are you doing something else? Are
Mhm.
you So just say yes
Yeah.
and tell your approach to it.
Right.
But nope.
Just acknowledge it. Real quick, guys, look, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, help us with our algorithm, hit the like button. It'll let YouTube know that y'all are enjoying the conversation we're having here right now. But yeah, so he doesn't answer.
No.
And she even asked, she's like, why can't you answer directly? Why can't you give me a straight up answer? And then Corey doing Corey things. He's like, are you ready to go to another level?
Do you want to go
She's like,
deeper with me?
right. She's like, I'm so
Like,
confused. I don't know where you at right now.
right. Like, I can't find you in the level we are. Are we in the kiddie pool? Or where are we in the splash pad? Where are we? Where are we currently? I want you to meet my mom and my dad. What? How many weeks in? 2 weeks? I don't want to meet your brother. I don't want to meet your friends. Like, I don't know if I want to go any further with you, let
Right.
alone. I think that's very personal, right?
Right.
Meeting parents is like, you are going in another level where
Right.
you're saying, my family's important to me and I want them to know your name.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
was sharing this
When
last night
you
with
go ahead. Go ahead.
I was sharing this with Tashara last night. I don't want my son to bring home every chick he meets, because I'll get confused on, what's your name, baby? Like last week he brought in so and so. So I don't even, as a mother, don't bring somebody to me you're not
Right.
serious about.
Right.
And I get to know them and, want to, like, potentially calling you a part of my family.
Right.
And then next week you got another chick here.
Right.
No.
Yeah. I mean, when my mom knew you were the one because I brought you, I wanted to make sure that she met you. Right. My
Hmm.
mom knew I dated before you.
Hmm.
Right. She knew
Right.
who they were just because of the circles that we moved in, what have you. She knew who they were, but she knew that there was something different about you when I'm bringing you and making sure that you all meet. Right.
Right.
And
Right.
so for him to be like, I want you to meet my mom and dad, yes, that's a very special thing. That's a very private thing. That's a very endearing thing, right?
Hmm.
But it's early, it's too early where it's like it's gameplay. It's
Right.
it's you trying to sink your
Tug
hooks a
on
little deep.
emotion.
Right.
Right.
And
Hmm.
so she's like, okay. And so he says he's not gonna lie to her, but he still doesn't answer her. Right.
Right. Right.
And
Yeah.
Naveen is left saying, Corey just moves differently. Right.
Mhm.
So on the other side of PG County, outside of DC, because they're not really in Virginia, right? Or in DC. Sydney invites Camille, Cornelius, and Dante out. So it's a
A
group
selfie
of
museum.
Yeah. And Cornelius starts to have questions. He's like, in one of his aside interviews, he's like, he wonders if they are moving too fast. Bruh, Cornelius, slow down. Slow down. Slow your roll. And if you slow down, that will force Camille to slow down, right? But because Camille is from what we're seeing accelerating things, and if you, one of the things that they tell if you're being, if somebody's trying to be, kidnap you, whatever, they tell you what, to just be dead weight, just to kind of fall down to the ground,
Right.
be dead weight. Cornelius, be dead weight. She's trying to kidnap you, take you into the white van. Be dead weight. Just stop. Put a break to
it. Because he's like, she apologizes. She apologizes. And he's like, I accept your apology.
Right.
But he's not being very stern. Like, listen, this is your last warning. 3 strikes you out. It's your last warning.
Yep.
You act a fool again, you're not going to be here.
Because he does say that she's his strongest connection. So he does acknowledge that.
He tries to reinforce what he's been already saying like multiple times.
Right.
And she's trying to apologize, but it's like, but are you saying you're going to change?
Mm-hmm.
It's not the white van. Yes. With the no window.
Yeah. She's trying to get him in the kidnapper van. Right. But he does say that he feels stifled by her behavior, because it is not, and I don't think we've talked about the fact that she is so vocal about, this is my boyfriend, this is my guy, it potentially could harm him as far as him moving around, getting to know other people, because he's gonna be like, oh, I gotta stay true, I gotta stay girl code with Camille. I can't move with him and get to know him because Camille has already decided that that's the one. So it's impacting his game, impacting his ability to get to know people on a couple of levels.
Well, and again, he shouldn't feel that way.
Right.
And if she can make him feel that way, I would rather eliminate you out of this process, because I would tell her, if you make me feel like I can't move around and talk to someone else because you're on edge, I don't like that feeling.
Right.
And I'm not going to want to be in a relationship with you, because if someone comes up to me while we're at a bar or hanging out, and are you going to do the same thing?
Right.
I'm like, nah. Mm-mm.
Yeah. Now, on the other side of that date, you have Dante with Sydney. Now, did you notice how Dante's energy was a whole lot different?
I was about to say, he talks.
Yeah,
he does talk.
Because last week with Camille, he was like,
he just wasn't interested in Camille. Camille couldn't pull it out of him. I mean, it's okay. I mean, I'm like, okay, Dante. I was like, oh, he's from Chicago. Okay. I didn't even know where he's from. It was like, it was for him. That's more of his type. And if that is, it is. That's all he did what he was supposed to do. So
right. But I think that still, even just having a conversation, because I think that what was for Dante last week with Camille, or not Camille, but Carrie, was that he wasn't having a conversation with her. I don't have to necessarily be fully into you to have a conversation with you.
Just to be a genuine person like this, let me just get to know you. Like, I know you're not my type, but okay, maybe you'll surprise me.
Right. Or maybe I, in my conversation with the other guys, maybe this is who you need to have a conversation with, because maybe y'all would be a better connection, right? But his energy completely was different with it, like 180, right? Sean does then go out on a date with Aisha.
Yeah.
He's feeling her. Now, did you know he gave her roses? He gave her red.
No, I thought it was different. I thought it was it was something else.
He gave her, he said he gave her, I thought gave her 3 flowers. It was a red, white, and flower, and lavender. And each one, he gave her red rose, of course, for passion, white for friendship, and then lavender because of her zodiac sign, her astrological sign. Right now, remember, we've seen roses before. Last season with Jason giving Liz roses. And remember, I called a little strange that Jason was giving out white roses like he gave his mother and his stepmother to Liz. And we got news, of course, this week that Liz completely they're completely not together. Sean at least is like, look, I'm expressing to you, yes, I do want to have a friendship. I recognize who you are as far as your sign, but I'm also going to give you this red rose because I want to have some passion with you, right? And they have a good conversation. But the sticking point is Aisha's done having kids. She's like, look, my time, I had my kids early while all my friends were out partying, doing their thing. I was with my kids. It's my time now. And so the question for Sean is, will he be satisfied if he and Aisha do connect? Will he be satisfied being a bonus dad to her kids? Or does he want to, like a lot of men do, want to have something from his lineage, right?
Right. I totally agree. I'm like, I'm not having no more kids. I have people are grown out of my house. I'm not having another child.
Yep.
If I had to start over, you ain't getting it from me. I'm not adopting. I might do a pet, but that's all you're getting. You want a puppy? Other than that, I'm not having any children.
And these are valid statements and valid concerns, especially when we're talking about the age group that they're in, right? So if he's 44 and wanting to date someone in his age group, then yes, many women at that time are either done having kids or don't want kids. Right. So then you have to figure, okay, what does that mean for me? Does that mean I now go for 22-year-olds, right? Or go much younger, right? Not much younger than 22, but much younger than his age of 44, right? Yeah, good question. No surrogacy, that could be an option, but if you're done raising kids, I know for me, I don't want to have another 4 a.m. feeding.
It's work, and now that they're independent and on their own,
right?
Because you're making a minimum of 18 years of you're my focus,
right?
I'm making sure you're healthy. I'm making sure you're educated. I'm making sure you're engaged socially. I'm doing it's a lot. And if you know the responsibility of it, and I'm older, me running around at 47 with kids, and how engaged are you going to be at 46? Are you going to be really engaged? Am I going to be mostly responsible? Because I personally couldn't do it. Now, some women can. I've known women, friends who had babies at 47 years old.
Right.
And they're enjoying it. And they have the father that's totally involved, totally there with them.
Right.
So for it. But when you can say no because you've done it and say, I'm going to let you go because I can't do it.
Because I mean, if you think about even for him, he's 44, which means that let's say they get started now, right? That means when he's 45, they'll have a baby, right? Just throwing out the scenario. That means that child, he'll be 63 when that child is 18 and out the house. One, I don't know that just me again. When I'm approaching retirement at 63 years of age, I don't know if I still want to be doing dad things on that level to just get you prepared to go out into the world. Right. Then also, and I had a friend in college who his parents, him and his brother were like 20 years apart. So his dad was like 60 something when he was going into college. And he
Mhm.
noted, for him, it was a little different because his father was not as able to do things
Mhm.
that he did for the first son, right?
Mhm.
Because of the age difference, because of mobility, because of all of those things. And so then it's also, is it fair to the child that
Mhm.
you're bringing into the world that you're already on, let's just real talk. You're on the latter half of your life, bringing someone into the world. Yes, it fulfills your legacy moment, but does that provide that child with the best opportunity for everything? Right? Just a thought.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that depends on how well you're going to take care of yourself, right?
Right.
Because there's other extremes where,
Yeah.
you know, people have kids that had disabilities, and
Mhm.
then there's one story where the guy, he got fit so that his son could do a triathlon and be able to
Mhm.
do things that didn't have legs, or
Right.
he couldn't run or whatever.
Right.
So you would have, to me, you would have to also make sure you take care of yourself so you could be there for your kids if you're going to have kids later on in life like that,
Right.
you know
Mhm.
so, but I digress. If
Yeah.
someone wants to do it, go for it. If you have the ability to be there for your child and really put in what you need to put in, and not the other kids putting in
Right.
that time, then do it.
Right.
But she's being honest. I'm totally right there with her. And he really needs to think about that, because there are going to be women out there that be willing to do that.
Yeah.
There's more than enough women.
And Etta
But
did. I mean, Etta, like Etta said, it's good that they have the conversation now as opposed to later, right?
yep, yep.
So, as far as even just as far as ladies that we know on this season who might be a better fit for Sean, one person that comes out that sticks in my mind is Sabrina, who
Hmm.
they're about the same age,
Hmm.
and she's made it clear that she's not looking to have kids anymore.
Hmm.
Kids, right? She
Yep.
already has one child. She's not looking to have any more. So that might be
Hmm.
a better fit for him, just as far as where they are in life and what they're wanting. Well, no,
Well,
I'm sorry, that wouldn't be
no,
good for him. I'm sorry,
because she
my
don't.
bad.
She
She
don't
don't
want
want kids either.
kids.
Never mind. Ignore that. I'm sorry. It's early where we're filming. All right. But yeah, it's a good question for who Sean might find a better fit with. That's a good question. All right. So then Ladies Lounge comes up, and the ladies are, of course, talking with Tommy. And so we again start to see who's feeling who. So Shyla mentions that she's connecting with Phil and with Tyrone. We saw her connecting with Phil last week. We of course talked about her connecting with Tyrone. Sydney is feeling Dante, the new girl. She's feeling Dante and Frank are the two that she's kind of having connection with. And that's who we saw her having those dates with. Tasia says she's having a connection with Phil, which we haven't seen that yet. And we'll see how that goes. I think Tasia is just pulling names out of a hat.
I don't know.
That's just my thoughts. All right, and then Courtney starts talking about how she's feeling corny. I called him corny. Maybe that was a Freudian slip, but she's feeling Corey and Cornelius. Right. And Mumin, of course, is like, whoa, wait, and she's talking about how Corey told her that she was his number one. And they start at the table, Mumin and Courtney start comparing notes. And Courtney acknowledges the fact that they did have that Corey did bring out the cards and what have you. Mumin's like, oh, I asked him about that. And based upon that whole thing, you see Courtney start tearing up the cards. Right. Then Courtney also reveals that he asked her to meet the parents, which Mumin was asked to meet the parents. So now, again, Corey has copy and pasted his entire game plan between these two women.
Let's just, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just go ahead and get to the table. I was like, we
So,
Corey wants so Courtney wants closure,
mhm. Yeah,
and
because
Corey comes. He's like, "Oh, I'm not eliminated because it's Courtney." No, boo. Let me just tell you, I'm tired. You tell other women the same thing. Everyone's
Hmm.
number one.
Hmm.
Everybody's meeting your parents. This is all game to you. Well, I'm telling my truth. So what I hear him saying is, when I'm talking to you, it's true for you.
Right.
When I'm talking to her, it's true for her.
It's situational
Eh,
truth, right?
right. So why y'all can't just give me a little bit more time, be patient? Nope.
Right.
Mm-mm. It's you're not ready to love.
Yeah.
Have a good life.
Right.
I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get up and you stay here. So
Because he said he wants to give all of them the chance to feel like a queen for a day. Well, here's the thing. It's not your role to make a
correct.
woman feel like a queen for a day, especially in this environment. The
Not in this
goal is
environment.
to find your queen and
Correct.
make her feel
Correct.
like a queen for as long as you all are together.
Correct.
But if you're automatically just trying to come and meet with someone and make them feel like a queen for a day, it, it's it's an insecurity, in my opinion, on your part as well, because then it's like I've got to make you feel some kind of way, and hopefully, if I make you feel that way enough, then maybe because I have helped you to have that emotion, then maybe you'll stick with me and choose me instead of being who he is and allowing them to enjoy who he is. He has become all things to all people and tried to do this in a way that it's gameplay and it's corny gameplay. It's bad gameplay. It's no game. Sorry.
Yeah. He just doesn't know how to move in certain situations. And
No.
that's not the move in this situation.
Mm-mm.
It's just not. And he doesn't know where to balance that. And so, like you said, if you can't be, I don't think Corey knows who he is, because when you have to play so many different people to so many women,
Right.
then you lose who you are for that person to fall in love with you
Right.
and not what you're going to bring to them or make them feel. This is not a Disney experience.
No.
See, Disney wants you to feel a certain way when you come on, so you keep coming back and
Right.
paying money for the experience.
Right.
But when you're in a relationship, it's
Mm-hmm.
about you finding the journey of your own identity and transparency that
Yep.
makes you have a connection that will continue to grow and last, right? Because as
Mm-hmm.
people, we will always grow and have a journey.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's my take on it.
So Corey's gone.
Corey's gone.
But then across town, Tyrone meets with Shiloh and they have their first date.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm just like, this is y'all first date. And
Right.
pretty much we're only having drinks. So
Right.
really it's not, to me,
You,
it's really them just meeting
you might
in
get an
person for the
appetizer,
first
but
time.
yeah.
Meeting for the first time in person. Like, I'm like, and she has to tell him, like, let's just, you know what? Because you went too fast
Mm-hmm.
and you indicating your, to me, it's expressing love. If you're telling me I'm your
Right.
wife, you're expressing that you're in love
Right.
with me and you want to marry me.
Right.
That's what you're saying.
Right.
That's where you're saying. And so I'm like, she's like, and she's in tears. I don't know if I'll be crying, but it'd be more like, I'm so sad that your journey's ending, because I get what you're saying and I love to be special. But to
Right.
me, a man asking you to marry him is more than being special.
Right.
It's saying that I'm in love with you and I'm committed for you to carry my name.
Right.
And so just because a man says that, it's like, I'm like, you're saying it too early. How I'd be like, do you say this to women that you fall in love with easily? Is this the
Mm-hmm.
first thing you say? Instead of saying, I really want to see how this is going. I feel
Right.
like it could end up in marriage. You're saying,
Mm-hmm.
you're my wife. Like,
Right.
hold on. You know what you just said? The validity of what you just said is very impactful.
Yeah.
So,
It
so it was two
it's
gone.
Yeah, it's too gone. And I think for him, it's the flip side. If we're honest, it's the flip side of Camille. Just as Camille latched on to
Hmm.
Cornelius very
Hmm.
early, and it's like, that's my guy, that's my boo, what have you.
Hmm.
All others be damned. That's kind
Hmm.
of what Tyrone has done with Shiloh.
Hmm.
And Shiloh is just basically saying, I think part of her tears were she really wanted to get to know him, but
Hmm.
there's the fact that he has been so um so fast, so quick, is like, look, I got to let you go because I still have a process I want to work through. And maybe I'll come back to this after that. But right now in
Mm,
this process, I can't, I can't have you tied into me, and I
hmm.
can't move around and figure out what's the best for me in my process.
Right. Yeah.
And the other ladies were also like, well, if he's cutting everybody else off, then he may be ready to love, and the person he knows who he's ready to love, but he's not he's not ready to love as far as getting to know people, and especially the person who he's ready to love is not ready to love him.
Yep.
So,
Well,
um, yeah,
yeah. So we'll see. I mean, we got some interesting trailers coming up. It looks like we know what lady's going home,
I think
possibly.
I think Camille is getting that conversation
She might be getting that conversation, but we'll see.
right.
So,
It's for me,
okay.
it's a toss up between Camille and Tasia. I think Tasia has stayed around way too long, but I think Camille also just for the safety of Cornelius, it might be time for Camille to exit stage left.
Exactly.
All right. Well, listen, we appreciate everyone that kind of popped on for this conversation. Again, Tarsha is on her birthday weekend, so I'm about to let her go so she can get back to having fun with her girlfriend up in Oaktown. And
Yes, we got
then
massages, baby. I got an
y'all go
appointment.
have fun. Listen, and we appreciate every one of our viewers. We'll see you all next time. KT Squad, have a great one. Be blessed. We'll see you next time.